As we, the Association of Black Collegians, are tirelessly fighting for justice for George Floyd, we are also fighting for thousands of other Black Americans that have lost their life to police brutality and racism in America.
The list of Black people murdered due to police brutality and white vigilantism seems to be never-ending. Last year alone, more than 1,000 people were killed by police.
None of them received the justice they deserve, and in order to be at peace, justice must be served.
The effects of racism, slavery, and oppression are still alive today.
We are fighting and pleading for our lives because the system that we helped build has failed to protect us.
In the midst of the revolution to save and value Black lives, we must remember and acknowledge history, especially history in the very city that we seek education and call home.
We reflect on the murder of hundreds of innocent Black lives during the burning of Black Wall Street in 1921. The Tulsa Race Massacre is called the single worst incident of racial violence in American history.
In 2020, our Black massacre is police brutality, mass incarceration, and racism across the nation.
Enough is enough.
We all must educate ourselves, advocate for others, and be the change. Silence is a form of oppression.
Advocates and allies must stand and support the Black Lives Matter movement. This system of oppression and racism has been kept alive for hundreds of years.
As a university and as members of this community, we must unite to create a better future for those that come after us. You can choose to be a part of this movement, or you can let fear and silence leave you in the dust of the past.
Choose change.
Choose justice.
Choose love.
Black Lives Matter.
I am a Black American, and I am tired.
Yes, we are Black, and we are proud, but we are tired.
The last few weeks have been difficult for me as an African American male. Witnessing the unspeakable violence leading to the deaths of Mr. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and Terrence Crutcher has led to more heartbreaking conversations with my family about the long history of inhumane treatment of African Americans.
When the world watched the brutal and the heartless killing of George Floyd at the knee of a white police officer, a knee that stayed on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, the world bore witness to this country's history and legacy of systemic racism.
Our country's had a problem with racism since it came into existence. 155 years ago, almost 1 million Americans died in a civil war in order to end slavery and establish racial equality. Well, it's 2020, and racism is still killing Black Americans.
Racism is something that my family has dealt with as far back as I can remember. The Black community has dealt with racism for a number of years, for far too long.
I am tired, but I am not too tired to fight. I support the Black Lives Matter movement, and I hope you do too.
But Black lives do matter. Our Black communities matter. I matter.
This is something that we have to move forward on. I challenge you, if you are unfamiliar with some of our struggles, I challenge you to open your heart, open your ears, open your eyes, open up your schedule to have a meeting with someone from the Black community where you can learn and better understand some of our struggles.
This is the moment to speak up, to educate, to listen, to petition, and to donate. One of the best ways to have your voice heard and to enact change is to vote. We can be a generation of change, and we owe it to the generations hurt from the systematic oppression to not be complacent.
We need substantial and lasting progress on racism in this country. We need to elect leaders that want to face the problem directly, and we need to hold them accountable. We don't have that right now. Now, there have been many turning points in history. This can be one that makes a big difference in America. Get out and vote for those that know that Black lives matter.
Speak up and use your platforms. We push through injuries, workouts, games, and practices. As one team, It's time for us to push for change and be a demanding voice against racism and police brutality.
And so I want to commit to you all in this fight to always educate myself on what it means to be an anti-racist, to always vote for people who will implement and fight for policies that protect and advocate for the Black community, and to always use my voice to amplify Black stories, and always use my platform to share love and support for the Black community.
Although I can't understand, I can stand with you, our TU community, our students and employees of color, and I can listen and I can use my voice to amplify yours. I will.
Racism is endemic in America, and if you stand as an ally with us, and if you are wanting to continue this fight, I urge you to read books, to watch films. Some of those films are available, like Just Mercy and 13th and I Am Not Your Negro by James Baldwin, on Amazon Prime for you to watch with your family for free. I encourage you to let it start in your home, within the communities that you sit and serve in. I encourage you to begin your fight there. Do the work and stand with us to continue to end the racial injustices that have been happening to our people, to my community for years.
I need each and every one of you to stand with us, to fight with us, and to be the change that we need to see in this country. We have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and having those conversations, because we see where being comfortable has brought us.
I pledge to support people of color, to listen and learn, to educate myself and re-examine my blind spots and ignorance, to donate to worthwhile causes, and to elect officials who declare proudly and visibly that Black Lives Matter, and that make policies to end systematic discrimination.
Please sign petitions. Please vote for state and local representatives. Call and email your local governments. Actively pursue educational resources, but most importantly, reach out to your loved ones and express your support for them.
As a student affairs professional, I will tirelessly work to create opportunities for my students to have difficult, vulnerable, and courageous conversations about the truths in their lives, so they may continue to grow, to speak up, and use their platforms to change society and hopefully the world.
I'm here to listen. I'm here to support you, but I will not be silent. I will use my white privilege to explain the realities of racism and police brutality in America. I am here for you to call for an end to this injustice in this country.
So to my white colleagues and friends, please go out and educate yourselves on the history that you were never taught. Please keep your friends and family accountable and have those tough conversations. Because being an active ally takes more than a post on social media or a donation to a social justice organization. It's a lifelong commitment.
We understand that we will never understand. However, we stand.
Black Lives Matter. Racism and systemic injustices are not okay, and we must actively work to change them. The Counseling Center is committed to participating as an ally by providing counseling and education.
Racial trauma is real and can be creating lots of big feelings that may be competing for your attention right now. We know you need a safe space, whether it be to process, to mourn, or to learn. For all of those affected by racism and systemic injustice, we see you, we hear you, and we're here to support you.
And at TU, we have a lot of work to do, and we have a lot of work that we will do. I vow to you that I will speak openly, and I will use my voice. We will engage in difficult and hard conversations. We will become vulnerable to each other, and we will learn from each other.
In the men's soccer program, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we stamp out racism and continue to move forward as one.
And to my fellow Black peers, I'm giving you that head nod that we all know, and I'm telling you that I see you and that I got you. Now, as a TU community, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So let's do it. because it doesn't end here.
Black lives matter, and I stand with you.
Black lives matter.
The Black Lives Matter.
Black lives matter.
Black lives matter. The movement is how we move forward.
Black lives matter.
Black lives matter. And not only do our lives matter, but our lives are of worth. Our stories are deserving to be told.
We need to change. We need to make sure that every American has the rights that are granted to us. Support Black Lives Matter. Thank you.